Hi, I'm Chris Maddock, designer of the Harmony House.
Today is the second day of the excavation. Yesterday we removed the topsoil for the whole site, and today we start to dig deep into the ground. Over my shoulder on the left, you can see the excavation for the basement. You can see over there we are almost reached the excavation level, and further away you can see the band. That is the cross bay. Over there we are not yet up to the excavation level. I believe we still have 1 foot to go down. And a little bit further on this way you can see a little bit deeper over there is the sunken patio, and I dig a hole over there is for the future pump sump, and also for the pump sump that we will use during excavation and during the foundation construction, because the foundation stage will last for almost 1 month. During this month we may have rainy season, therefore we need to pump the water from the excavation. Therefore we put a low pond over there so that we can pump the water away. I foresee we will finish the excavation maybe by mid of tomorrow, and then after that we have several inspections by the soil engineer, by the city inspector, and also the surveyor will come to set the setting out of the foundation work. And we hope that we can start the foundation work within the excavation maybe on Friday.
Hi, I'm Bob Lee, BC Land Surveyor. My job for this afternoon is laying out a proposed house in the excavated hole. I get my equipment set up. I have to set up an offset line and coordinate the points of the house and rate it in probably tomorrow after I calculate all the dimensions. Now we have to lay out the main floor elevation, 197.12. Got the elevation sheet to make sure that's correct. Yeah, 197.12, that's the main floor of the building. So that's what we'll lay out. I'll just put a nail on a tree back there, and I'll shoot the point that I've got set up there on the sidewalk. This instrument measures the distances to the prism. The prism is actually a retro mirror, and it just reflects the ray back to the instrument. It's quite accurate. But this machine now has the capacity to measure without. I can point the machine anywhere and get the distance and the elevation by shooting any point, which I'm going to do that hub in the hole. This is a pin finder looking for a steel bar. It's actually quite visible, but the grass has covered it up. This pin marks the north boundary of this property. So we can establish a point over here which I'll coordinate, so I can ultimately coordinate the corners of the house and put them in from a traverse line which will be located from that pin, and one at the front, and probably a check from another one on the street.
ICF, or insulated concrete forms, differ from traditional formwork in two distinct ways. Firstly, instead of traditional framework material like wood, ICF walls are made from extruded or expanded polystyrene and plastic cross ties. They are two-sided, stackable, and are configurable much like children's building blocks. They can be made to any height. The center space is hollow and allows for the insertion of reinforcing steel and concrete. Secondly, unlike wood-framed forms, ICF formwork stays in place to provide permanent insulation, helping to increase the efficiency of the building, and through prefabrication, helping to streamline the construction process.
Okay, so now that our fabric is all laid out and we've got our components, they're all roughly in the right position, we're going to attach these monopore supports to the block so that we're elevated to the right footing height. So we're going to just start right at the corner here, our right corner, and just start there and kind of assemble, building with Lego pretty much is what we're doing. So let's go. And you can just kind of assume, follow up with that line there, so it's perfect. Yeah, there you go. Here, I'll
just want to make sure.
Yeah. Now, so the F is for the fabric, so we're gonna do that last.
Okay.
So just the B and the B for the block.
Okay, now we check the level.
We'll check our level here, so we'll put it on our base. So we gotta come up. We'll just use our drill.
You pick it up. Yeah, go up. No, let's go down.
We're out of the pad.
Yeah, is it right? Just a go. Yeah, keep it go.
Down a bit. All right, there we go. That's good. All right, so before we're going to actually attach this component for the remainder, we're going to glue the component to the other one here. So we have somewhat like a grade beam. So so strong structure. So we're going to place 2 small beads, foam beads, along the entire edge again. We're going to put our block up into it. All right. All right, and down. We're good?
Yeah.
All right.
Very good.
Okay. So then here we'll check, like we've got a gap here, and we can fill that with the foam, because the foam itself, once it dries, is strong, just as strong or sometimes even stronger than the block.
So you want to put it inside or outside?
So we just want to put it, just fill up all the gaps there, just to be sure.
So
and we can trim that off after. So we got our, so Winston and Harry, come on over here. So we've got, I'm just drawing out the profiling here for our second step here. Okay, so normally with lumber, what we're gonna have to do is spend a couple hours out of the day cutting all our plywood so that it forms around our steps, so we're not leaking concrete everywhere, right?
Okay.
So because we got our fabric here, we're not gonna have any concrete leaking anywhere. And so all we need to do is just take this block and cut around the profile. So it's really simple. So all we'll get you to do is just cut around our line here, so our block will fit up perfectly, 10 inches, our footing width away from our step. So we're absolutely fine, and we're done in 5 minutes here.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Reducing unnecessary energy loads in a building is fundamental to energy efficiency. Start with a question like, do I really need this? Simply not buying an electrical device is the simplest way to save energy. However, if you have to buy a new device, make sure it's as efficient in its energy use as possible. Looking for the Energy Star logo helps you make that decision. And finally, turning off a device, or better yet, unplugging it when it's not in use, ensures you're not using something you don't need. Not using energy is passive, and passive is green.
Hi, I'm Joey Fearn with Fab-Form Industries, and since the Harmony House there's been several advances to our fast-foot monopore system. Firstly, with the Harmony House we were using an ICF that we assembled on site using ties and just panels of EPS. Now we're using a pre-manufactured ICF block, which means that it's going to be a lot quicker for on-site installation, building and assembling our walls. Secondly, on the Harmony House we were attaching these monopore supports and attaching our fast foot bag on site. So it means that the guys were on their knees screwing into the ties every 8 inches on our ICF wall. Now we've taken all of that off site and it's going to be done in our warehouse. So what we're doing is we're installing the monopore supports as well as the fast foot fabric to the exact dimensions of your footing width and depth. So that's going to take a lot of time and labor off the site once again. As well, we've also installed the footing steel. So it means that nothing's going to be done on site except for assembling these large components, leveling them up, and then setting up our bracing. So there you go. So now we can just put this right on top of our level here and we've got our step made.
Winston and myself are placing as much bar in the walls as we can before the walls go up, so it doesn't have to be lifted over the wall or whatever later on, right? It fits in an allocated chair. In this case, it's in the center of the wall. And the placement of the bar, of course, is allocated by the engineer having control of the job. We've missed a couple of ties out here, which we'll probably remove to get the other roll bar in.
What do you tell us about New Zealand?
Aotearoa. That's the Maori name for New Zealand.
Oh yeah?
Aotearoa, which means land of the long white cloud. And when the first migrant Maori came to New Zealand in 900 AD, that's what they saw over New Zealand, a long white cloud. Right? And that's what you see to this day. When you fly into New Zealand, you'll see a long white cloud out in the Pacific, and New Zealand is sitting underneath it. Tēnā koe.